Well, I just shut the camera off and it started doing the runaway train. So that means we have to stop it and check and see what's going on in it. My next project is going to be getting a bigger tumbler. Yep. Look at all that foam. So we will dump this. Use a little less. That one, I think I got too much borax in it because it was going good and then it started doing the runaway train. So we'll have to check that out in a few minutes. You know, you wouldn't think that there would be different hardnesses to rocks, but there sure is. Like this pile of rocks over here, right there. That was from the batch I did yesterday. I do this thing called speed tumble, where this, you can put this up on 3 and it goes real fast, and then instead of taking 7 days to do the first step, it takes a day. And so if you had those in there and you did it for 7 days and then took it out and found that pile wasn't ready, you'd have to put it back in for another 7 days. And that's why I like the multiple speed tumblers, because speed 1 goes real slow. See how slow that goes? Where if I turn it up to 2, it goes a little faster, and then that's 3. And then that's what I call the runaway train. When it does that, I just shut it off, because That usually means that it's filled with foam. And when it gets filled with foam like that, the only thing I've found that'll fix it is to dump the batch, rinse it off good, and start over. I could take this whole thing and just dump it in, but I like to put the rocks in first and then put the ceramic in, because you shouldn't fill the barrel more than 3/4 full of rocks and ceramic. And sometimes it settles and you could add just a little bit more, but still, we all have our own ways we do things, right? Now, do the ceramic. Just a rock in there. All part of it. Loading it, unloading it. Sometimes you're on a budget and you can only afford to buy so much grit. So if you have something else in the house that you can use temporarily, why not try it, right? Okay, that's all. All right, so that was an epic fail. So we're gonna put our water in. You want your water just below the edge, the level of the rocks, is what I was trying to say. And then take our borax. We're going to use a little bit less. I always use a spoon, tablespoon. Not tablespoon, teaspoon. We're going to try a 1/4 teaspoon, because we got this has surfactant in it. Surfactant is a fancy word for soap. going to use. See, we used twice as much of the toothpaste and a full teaspoon of borax. So we are going to try half as much of the toothpaste and about a quarter what I would usually use of borax. Then in there like that. Always push it down, make sure you got a good seal. Something I always do is I always turn it over, make sure there's no leaks. Shouldn't really have to check it for leaks, but we'll see how it goes here. Yeah, I just turned off the camera before when it started doing that runaway train. Like that. So we're going to have to open this up and see how bad it is. Maybe we're not going to be able to use the toothpaste. Oh, goodness. Sometimes I have to put the wing nut back on there for leverage. Well, it's not too bad. Got a little bit of the take out some of the the purpose of the ceramic media is it's supposed to get in between the rocks and help create gaps for the stage 2, 3, and 4 grit. Sometimes you have to do this. All part of it. We'll take that one out. Water. So you want the water level to be just below the rock level. Can you see in there how the water comes up? started to say my next project is going to be a bigger tumbler. I want one of the either 11 or 17-pound tumblers. I'll look in to see what's available. I like the Vivor brand because they're reasonable, but if I need to go to another brand for the there we go. Ain't gonna work. So we're gonna have to dump it and start over. It happens. It happens. Gee whiz. Okay, so we're gonna dump this whole thing out. And I would say that that was a failure because it won't tumble. I would say that the toothpaste was a failure because that's 2 times I tried with different amounts and it wouldn't tumble. So that means we cannot use that for that. So what we will do is we go back to our tried and true borax. I just thought, hey, if this would work and something that people already have around the house, try it out. But it did not work. there are some people that when they do their burnishing, they just put the rocks in water and let it tumble overnight in water. Okay, now put our ceramic media in there. All right, put our water in. Oh, that'll be okay. And our spoon of borax. And this will be good to go for overnight. All right. No leaks. There she goes. All right. Take care, guys.